Mark Patton is going to help me do this. He is the president of Quest Automated Services. It's a McKinney-based company leading the way in oil field automation. Their technology reduces cost, increases production, and decreases financial liabilities, all while creating a safer working environment. Mr. Patton, welcome to the Chris Crock Show with me, Chris Salcedo, here on WBAP.
Thank you for having me on.
Now, you just got back from a conference full of oil bigwigs, yes, here in the state of Texas?
Yes, a lot of oil bigwigs, the Texas Oil Alliance Expo.
Yeah, and what was that all about, and how'd it go?
Well, that was their annual conference they have, and it was a raging success. It's where a lot of the smaller and independent operators get together and talk about, what's going on in their industry and how they can adapt and change and what new technologies are emerging and how they can better their operations.
There are few people within the sound of our voices right now who think when they go up to the pump and put that gasoline in their tank, all of the processes that go into getting that gasoline to that pump and into the tank. You guys, describe to the folks what it is that you guys do, what your business is all about.
Well, our main focus is protecting people and reducing their risk. Out there, in most of the oil sites that are out there, you see these pump jacks and you've heard about fracking. What we're doing is we're flooding the formations with water. And it's a chemical injected water, and it allows the oil and water separation at the separator unit to go. So the oil's taken off to be used, and the water's recycled. What we do is we take that water and make sure it doesn't get out of control, because you're producing a lot more water than you are oil in a typical situation. So what we want to do is make sure that the water doesn't get into a position where a hose was to break, or it was to go over the top and start getting outside a secondary burr. So what we do is we prevent that. We give notification alerts, much like ADT security would be for the fire or police department. If they were to show up on your site, they're going to be there. We're going to be there, just the same way.
Now, fracking is a relatively new technology that is allowing an energy renaissance in the United States of America. It's kind of been put on hold because of some moves by OPEC, and we'll get into that more in a minute. But you guys, too, are using advanced technology to help these, which is basically 20th century technology in oil pumping. You guys are introducing 21st century technology to help it become more efficient, yes?
Exactly. We're able to get, these sites are hundreds of miles away from the owners and operators, so we're able to give them real-time eyes on their production.
All right. Okay, so now let's talk about the aforementioned OPEC and the aforementioned countries that, as I was bringing you on in the last segment, I mentioned these countries that do not like us very much. I'm talking about Russia, talking about Iran, Venezuela. They are able, relatively speaking, to produce oil at pretty low costs. And what fracking allowed us to do here in the United States is to somewhat come in within striking distance when oil prices were high. It allowed us to actually produce oil at less cost compared to some of these countries in some arenas, or at least get within striking distance. So I have that about right?
Yes, you do have that correct.
Okay. So now what OPEC decided to do was to flood the market with cheap oil so as to bottom out the price of oil and try to take away a competition and basically kneecap competition here in the United States. Is that how you see it as well?
Yes, they have an unfair advantage in that sense. Here in America, we've been working hard for energy independence, so we're very close to those goals. And because of that, you have envy. We're not spending near as much money with OPEC, and so they decided to change the game a little bit, which was the flood market to treat crude. So, and that affects Americans in many, many ways, not just jobs, just all over, and all the way down to the mom and pops that even work at Walmart affects them, believe it or not, because there's less dollars being spent. So it's definitely an unfair advantage, and it would be nice that in America, here in America, our producers are not allowed to export oil and gas at this current state, but we're allowed to import it at a discounted rate. So it would be nice if you had the same laws where if you had to import it, it was at least WTI rate, which was set by us here, and or Brent crude.
Well, and then places that have heretofore been success stories like Midland, Texas, or in the Dakotas, you've actually been to Midland, and it is this this tactic by OPEC has really hit that community hard here in Texas, yes?
Yes, it has, correct. When we used to go out there and visit with our oil producers, you could barely find a hotel if you in that region. And in the last year, their hotels are abundant, the rigs are laid down, as they say, and it's definitely not a heyday there.
Okay. Mark Patton, my guest right now. He's the president of Quest Automated Services, McKinney-based company that is bringing automation and new technologies into the oil exploration field. Texas, of course, a big oil-producing state, folks, and when we were one of the states leading the way in private energy production, because Team Obama was doing their very best to curtail government leases so that America would not be able to do energy independence. Have you received any feedback and from current customers who have told you what your service has meant to them?
Absolutely. You can actually even find that if you type Quest Automated Services YouTube. On our channel, we have a customer on there where we saved him 10 years worth of revenue by preventing a spill on one of his sites.
10 years worth of revenue?
10 years worth of revenue.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's, look, I don't want to overstate what you guys do because, I mean, you guys, it's fair to say you guys are a cog in this greater wheel that is going to allow us to become energy independent in this country. But introducing the next bits of technology into energy exploration, I think, is going to be key and will help our companies here at home remain profitable so they can compete with these folks overseas who exploit their workers and are able to extract oil from the ground at much cheaper prices. Mark Patton, he's the president of Quest Automated Services in McKinney. What was the name of that website again?
QuestAutomatedServices.com.
All right, QuestAutomatedServices.com. If you're in the oil industry or you have folks who are, if your job or somebody whose job depends on the oil industry, you might want to check out what Mark Patton and his group are doing. Sir, I appreciate you being here on the Chris Crock Show on WBAP.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, sir. Thank you.